Well, hello everyone. This is Scott Roberts, and we survived another weekend. And actually, it was a very nice weekend here in Arkansas. We had some nice skies and everything. Not storms like we might have seen in other parts of the country. Today, of course, joining us is Jerry Hubble, and a special guest here today is Maria Cardinal. And Maria and I are old acquaintances, old friends. And we have known each other, we think, for about 20 years now. And she was reminding me of some of the early times when we first met. Maria has been in the optics business for a very long time. Her father got her into the business, I believe. And she remembers many important people in this industry that have been with us and have retired, but Maria's still going strong, and she is at a place called BRESSER, Iberia. And BRESSER is a 60-year-old brand based out of Germany, but they have offices around Europe where they do their distribution. And Explore Scientific is BRESSER's office here in the United States. And so we're happy to have you on, Maria. It's great to see you.
And thank you. Nice to see you guys.
Right. And so, Maria, you know, for our audience to get to know you a little bit, maybe you can give us a little bit of history, okay, of how you got started in this business.
Well, you know, I started a long time ago with my father, just doing, to be honest, I started doing photography. I had no idea about what was. I remember the very first time somebody asked me about one camera. It was the Zenith. I don't know if you remember the Zenith. It was a Russian.
Oh yeah, I had a Zenith. Yeah, sure. It was yours a 35 millimeter camera? Yes.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. And the only thing I knew about the cameras was the Kodak. So I had a Kodak,
right.
And then I got this Zenith, and I said, "What is this? My God!" Yeah. So I started with this, and then we started with binoculars, some very small telescopes, and step by step, I was, you know, moving in this market. And some time ago, I made a decision to move to BRESSER, what is an incredible company with an incredible team.
Yes.
I have to tell you that BRESSER had a lot of history too, and also has been working with United States in many different games and different situations.
Yes.
And when I started with BRESSER, all of my friends in Spain used to say, "Wow, Germans, boring, no?" And I said, "Oh no, you have no idea what."
No, they're fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I tell you, if something is very, very nice in this company, is the team. It's incredible, incredible. There is no other astronomy brand with this kind of team. I always talk about this, you know.
You're right about that. You're right about that. And the celebrations and parties and the fun that we've had over the years, it's been really great. And but you know, also filled with very, very knowledgeable people and hardworking people and people that want to solve problems for their customers. You know, the dedication, you know, of doing that. And I know that that's there because, you know, even when there's like private conversations during a trade show or something where somebody could say anything, okay? They could say anything they wanted to about a customer or whatever, they always talked about customers with respect and with care, and that was always, no matter what the situation was like. So I've always respected that with the BRESSER team, and I know that the BRESSER team's really happy to have you on board too, because you're one of the people that have the right attitude and the energy and the fun that it takes to be part of this team. So
Yeah, exactly.
right,
You need energy.
right.
Yeah.
Now, Maria, we are going to talk about the Explore Scientific product a little bit,
Okay.
and some of the things that go on in a group that we call the OpenGOTO Community. The OpenGOTO Community is a group of about 500 members right now, and it's filled with users, programmers that program the PMC-Eight, people that have developed other programs to connect computers and all kinds of really cool stuff. Okay. We felt that in order to give the best customer service for our customers, that we needed to go on the air live every day and talk to our people, and so people joining us right now, I can see, we have Wolfgang, who's watching from Germany right now. So he says hello, everybody. Tyler Bowman, who's here in Arkansas, he says good afternoon. How's everybody's day so far? Mr. Thump 30, everybody's giving nice greetings. David Ing from Southern California is. Michael Whitaker is watching from the United Kingdom right now. Yeah. So you have an international group. Greg Sturgill, James the Astrophotographer, Robert Trepaccioni. I always trip on his name. I'm sorry. Carlos Aragon. He says, hello, stargazers. Thank you for going live and welcome Maria. Scott, how can we email you directly? Carlos, you can email me directly by using the letter S at explorescientific.com. And I will just put it right here so that everybody in the whole world can see it. And there you go. Okay?
S.
That's right. Very short email. It's because I can't spell, so I can't even spell my own name.
Exactly.
Daniel Joe Whitaker. Hey guys, this is my first time commenting, as I usually watch with my dad, Michael. I was wondering, do you think augmented or virtual reality will change the landscape of astronomy in the future? Now that is a great question. Okay, will artificial or augmented reality, AR, change the face of astronomy in the future? And I'll let Jerry talk about that because he's our futurist. So,
futurist, that's
that's right. Cool. Dave Connolly from Ireland is watching. We've got Cliff Whitney from Atlanta. And so, anyways, this is our group right now, and there's other people watching in the background. Sometimes they don't comment, but you're always welcome to comment on the show and ask questions. Okay. So, Maria, that gives you a little bit of an idea of what this show is about. But a lot of us have not been to Spain, okay, and don't know much about astronomy and the astronomy community, the amateur astronomers in Spain. How big is astronomy important to many people in Spain learning about science?
Well, right now I have to say that it is improving. Mm-hmm. Because we have day by day more chances, and I think that before, was very hard to get products in prices that people could allow, and right now this is changing because we have a very big range. I'm not talking. Not only about our range of brands.
Yeah.
but about, so is I could say that there is not a big community if you want to talk about community in the internet that people share experience. I think this we are very small,
Okay.
and we have to work a lot to improve it. But day by day, there are more people interested, and I think that one of the things is that we need more support.
Sure. Well,
In-
we're happy to lend that support as much as we can, Maria. I know that we talked about this a little bit earlier in the show, and I think that there are people excited to participate in the other things that are going on in amateur astronomy today, but maybe some additional help or education or support, tech support in particular, but it has to be in Spanish, right? It has, because this is not an English speaking country, and but as I mentioned, also we have people on staff that speak Spanish, and so I think it would be very cool if you can bring some of the people on that you were talking about to come on to the show. And I know our audience is going to be very interested in them and stuff. And so, I hope that can happen.
Yeah. In fact, we have very good people in Spain trying to do things, and because we have very good skies. Yeah, and there is day by day more people trying to do things about the sky to keep clean the skies of lights. For example, there is one institution here. I don't know if you know about Starlight. Have you heard about?
No.
No. I am in fact I am right now in touch with them, and what we are doing is something very, very nice.
Oh,
We are
is this a organization to protect dark skies?
Exactly.
I have heard of them. Yes, I have.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. This is founded in Spain, in the Canary Island. It was founded by a lady. It's a credible lady that is in love with the skies, and right now she's trying to support a lot of people, because right now the situation in Spain with the economy is very hard, and it's going to be more and more difficult. So we live a lot from the tourism. Okay. So what these people is doing is teaching the owners of small hotels to a telescope.
Yeah.
And for the guest,
yes,
to have night with the stars.
So they have an astronomy experience at the hotel.
Exactly.
Oh wow!
Exactly.
Very cool.
Yeah. And they are developing a new website completely free. And if you have a small hotel, or you have apartments, or even a hotel, and you want to have your own telescopes, but you need somebody to train you, what they do is every Thursday in the afternoon, they teach people how to show what we have in the sky.
Wow.
And it's very, very nice. So I'm thinking right now that we should invite these people to this.
Oh, that would be wonderful. Yeah, wonderful. Now, are they still doing, because of COVID and the pandemic that's going on right now, are they still doing this training? Did they do it in person, or are they doing it online like this?
No, they are doing online, and even they develop a protocol for the owners of these places. And it's very funny. What they suggested is buy a 3D printer, and then you can print kind of cap for your eyepieces. So everybody that will go to the hotel, we have the caps printed. Okay.
Oh, okay. So they print it at home, and then they bring it to the hotel, and they're ready to go. That's cool.
Yeah.
That is very cool. That's very smart.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And they start with the people. What I love is that they invite everybody, because what my experience here has been that the astronomy has been for very small, how do you say, nichos?
Yeah, it's a
Very,
niche market. We say niche market.
yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. And in the past, people didn't like much, to share the astronomy. But day by day, we find people that is crazy to share and to teach and to show, and what is
Sure.
beautiful. So
Excellent. Excellent. And
that
so,
is it.
so how you are now selling some Explore Scientific product in that country, in your country. How is it being received by the people there? Do they like the Explore Scientific products and the mounts? And
Yeah. Well, mainly people is in love with the species.
okay, yeah, we're
That
famous
is,
for eyepieces. That's true. That's true.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. And in fact, we used to be very short of units because day by day are more popular, not only in Spain, in Europe in general, okay? So, because in the past, Explore Scientific used to be an American brand.
Right.
Well, still it's an American brand, but the distribution was more in United States, no?
Sure.
And yeah, and now that the people understand what is Explore Scientific, who is in the back, and what we can offer, they love the product.
Oh, that's great.
Now we are starting with the mounts, with your mounts, what is very, very nice.
Thank you.
And yeah, and because now you can offer something that much more people can afford, what is very important.
That's true. That's true. Yeah, I think you're talking about the IXOS 100 mount and the IXOS 200 mounts. Those mounts very affordable, and with the PMC-8 system, it's pretty very versatile. It can auto guide. It can do many different things. So, and tomorrow night we're going to have a virtual star party, and so we'll see some of that stuff in action, I think. But that's great, Maria. Is there anything that you've got some people here actually commenting here. A guy named Nico Rochia, he says that Spain has very good astrophotographers. So I think he's been there. And Dave Connolly says La Palma has amazing skies.
Mm-hmm.
So I think they're excited to see you here. So that's very cool. And our shows also play after we broadcast. And so is there anything that maybe your audience wants to hear from you? But anything special happening on that they should be aware of at BRESSER Iberia?
Sorry, I lost the connection. Any?
Yeah, is there anything special that you would like for your customers in Spain, because you're on the air with us?
Okay.
You're on our program. Is there anything that you want to tell them? Your customers.
Well, nothing. That everybody is welcome for anything we can help, we can support, and that we are open to do new things, any idea or projects, and even I could say that I would love that we will be able one day to make a star party in Spain.
Mm-hmm.
with everybody that can join us, and that, well, we should start thinking about this one star night.
Yeah, that'll be fantastic. There's a Nico wants to know. He says, I love the Pro-Am project in Spain. Now, Pro-Am means that you've got professional astronomers working with amateur astronomers. And I don't know if you know much about it, but have you heard of this, where the professional astronomers work together with amateur astronomers on research?
Not really.
Not really.
Not really, because no, because right now the astronomy is becoming more important for us, but in the past we have been dealing with a lot of things because we are also doing other brands in Spain.
Yeah.
And for example, we have the licensing for National Geographic, what is very popular in Spain.
Yes.
And I have been supporting a lot this because I really believe that it's very important to take care of the planet. And I thought that it was a very nice project. So we have been doing a lot of efforts with this. And now from the last, I would say 8 months, we are starting to take care of the astronomy. And I'm trying to start getting in touch with people, trying to understand what we can do for the astronomy in Spain. So anybody that want to get in touch with us and make plans, give ideas, new projects.
So what website would they go to contact you, Maria?
Well, what they can do, should I type in your Skype or how I do it?
Yeah, you can type in my Skype and then I can.
You can do it in the chat.
We have one European website.
Okay.
And when you are in Spain, then we'll go to ES and then you will have a banner with our contact.
Okay.
But in any case, you can go to info that I can type for you.
Yeah,
too.
type it and then I'll just copy it and paste it into the chat. There are some people that have already started writing here, and Dave Connolly in particular is mentioning that he's in Ireland, but apparently he will go to Spain to be at your star party. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and he gives star parties in Ireland as well. So.
Well, that is good.
But
Scott, we should try to, if we are able to go back to a good point of our lives, might be very, very nice if we think about a star party.
Yeah.
In Europe and in US, and starting in Spain, then going to Germany, and then going to your place.
We could do that. We could do that. You should join in with us tomorrow. I'll give you the times and everything, Maria, and you can watch our virtual star party and see how we conduct this. It's also first for us, so we'll see what happens. But I put your information out there for people to look at, and so there we go. There we go. Maria, thanks for coming on the show with us. You're welcome to hang out. But we're going to switch now to Jerry Hubble. And
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Scott, very nice to talk to you and to join your body. I'm very happy.
Yeah, I feel like we've had like one of our old times, Maria. It's great. It's great. Let's see. So, Jerry, we wanted to talk about a couple of things, but I guess we'll talk about a little bit about the iXOS 100 mount,
Right.
and the iXOS 100 mount and a design feature. I think there was some conversation on the groups.io about altitude adjustment.
Actually, it was it was on the Cloudy Nights.
Oh, Cloudy Nights. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So I ran across this thread. Well, it's on our vendor announcement thread that I created back a year and a half ago when we announced the iXOS 100.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's a long-running thread that people chime in. It's great for us because we're allowed to say anything we want on the vendor forum. We can't say, when people talk about our mounts on the other forums, like the mount subgroup on Cloudy Nights or any of the other groups.
Yeah.
We can't say a whole lot. We can't tout our scopes. Or
No, that's not appropriate for us.
That's not appropriate. So
Right.
we can't do that.
Mm-hmm.
And we can't respond. So we can just do a minimal response if people have questions.
Hmm.
But on the vendor forum, we can say what we need to explain to people how things work, what things we do, and stuff like that.
Sure.
Similar to what we do on the PMC-8 forum. But so there was a recent conversation that started about the altitude adjustment on the IXOS 100, and there's a guy that's way up north. I guess he's around 60 degrees north, and he talked about that he couldn't get the adjustment to go that high.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a couple people chiming in about, well, the knob's too big, it clashes against the clutch on the RA axis, and so I guess what I wanted to talk about, and we talked about this earlier, is what is the design features? What do we consider when we go do an update on a mount design, or we, like the IXOS is a brand new mount design? Which features do we decide to keep that are basically like previous mounts, and which ones do we have brand new, that type of thing,
Right.
that impact this type of stuff?
Right. Well, that is tricky business, because obviously a lot of the parts that you're going to use will be legacy parts. You're not going to start completely from scratch. I mean,
Right.
we have done that. We have started completely from scratch on a number of different things. The PMC-8 electronics, for example, and that software, totally from scratch. Okay, we didn't use existing technology or existing programs or anything like that. We just said, straight up, let's just design a whole brand new system, and we did. We've done that with eyepieces, okay? One of the eyepieces that we have is the 120 degree apparent field 9mm.
Mm-hmm.
This is one of our extreme eyepieces, and I was talking to recently, last week, with Dick Buchrader, who is an optical designer and famous optical designer, and he bought one of them used and evaluated it, and he was fairly stunned that we were able to bring in as much correction as we did with 120 degree apparent field. If you've never used that eyepiece, I mean, you should try it, because imagine taking your hands out as far as you can and then just bring them in while looking straight ahead until you can see the tips of your fingers. Okay, and that's about 120 degrees. Okay, so about half the people can see the field, and about half the people can't. Okay, for those people who can, it's like sticking their head out of a spacecraft. Okay, it's a super ultra wide field, but higher magnification. So it's a very interesting eyepiece, a unique eyepiece, a heavy eyepiece because it's got lots of glass in it. Okay.
Yeah.
But that is something I'm very proud of. We are the only company in history to make a 120 degree apparent field eyepiece for amateur astronomy. So that's very cool.
So being able to do that is important for us to separate ourselves from all the other vendors. We want to offer unique products that people will want to buy.
That's true.
But we still have to rely on our previous product lines to guide our decisions. It's like you said, we don't want to recreate, we don't want to recreate the wheel if we don't have to.
All right. Well, there's the expense of recreating the wheel,
Mm-hmm.
So if you have parts that are solid that you can use as a foundational type of, components, then you should use them. Maybe improve them, okay? But, you're not going to throw them out. Case in point, we were talking about the altitude adjustment on the IXOS 100, and I think we've advertised it can go up to 65 degrees, but the customer, I think, pointed out that the knob can get in the way, right? And so,
right, mm-hmm.
Right. Of course, the knob is removable, and you can have all the clearance if you'd like, okay? But there's other solutions too, by adjusting like the north leg a little bit to get to even beyond the range of that latitude adjustment.
Right, exactly.
Right.
And that's
if you had to go down to 0, right? So another problem.
Right.
You're
exactly
counterweight rod hitting the tripod legs, for example. Okay.
So coming up with a brand new configuration for the altitude adjustment is a little bit of work, and it's it would be completely different compared to what we have today, and we have to weigh that investment against what the people need and what we have to provide for workarounds. Basically, is what it comes down to.
Mm-hmm.
And how many, so we got to consider how many customers do you have that are actually north of 60 degrees latitude?
Well, even one customer is important, but
Right.
but,
How could a small company invest
but where you're
$50,000?
concentrating, your work is where there's greater population, of course,
Mhm.
and uh, and so that is a valid argument. But the customer that's living up there has to understand that there are workarounds, fairly simple ones, to achieve what they need to. So
Right.
right.
There's more than one way to skin a cat.
Yes, there is. Oh,
We see that we actually see that a lot in polar alignment. There's like 5 different ways you can do polar alignment, depending on what your system provides and what you want to buy extra and what you want to do manually and what you want to train yourself to do. There's lots of different ways to do it. So we try to make our systems flexible
yes.
rather than to help accommodate anything that people want to do. Now, whether the flexibility is designed in or whether it's just coincident that this is a way to work around, that's for us to discover and to tell people about. So I think it's important, like you said, for customers to understand that we'll do the very best we can to help them be successful with their product, regardless of what their situation is.
Right. Before we move on, Jerry, I wanted to ask. I have found an overlay that I can put onto our video broadcast that shows your chats. I didn't know if it was easily readable or not in broadcast. Guys who are watching, are you able to see your chats coming up?
I see it. I see it coming up on the YouTube. It's actually overlaying your side of the video right now.
Right.
It's very readable.
Very readable. Good.
Yeah. You don't see everybody's full name. I mean, and the names get cut off a little bit, and it has a timestamp, but you can see.
I think that has more to do with how much space, real estate I want to give the chat on the on there.
Right.
It kind of squeezes it together a little bit, So
Right. But I think everybody can recognize their messages.
Okay, well that's great. I wanted other people to see the posts and stuff that's on Twitch and Twitter and YouTube because we're simulcasting. So, and this makes it so that we can kind of bring everybody together a little bit better. So, excellent. Ula Drake says, yes, I see it, but it disturbs the picture. Okay. Well, I can always turn it off if we have a picture that we're trying to get seen up there. So, and we do actually have some pictures.
Yeah, we have a couple things I want to talk about.
I think that was the next thing that you wanted to show. There was, you have a relatively new guy, right?
Yeah.
Wade Prunty, is that his name?
Wade Prunty is a new member, fairly new member. Let me. He's done some great work. He had a question. He's had an issue with PhD guiding, PhD 2. He's done some nice work. Let me. I'm just going to zoom up on this. I'll share my desktop here in a second.
Your desktop, okay.
I just want to zoom up on this picture that he's got. What is this?
Astro Beard.
So I
was watching Wade the other night. Let's see if we got questions here from anybody. Chalk Star says, what do you guys suggest for remote power? One power supply for the mount and another one for the laptop? That's what I would suggest. That you have.
Yeah, so right, because typically a lot of the astronomy equipment use 12-volt DC, where laptops use 18 volts typically. If you're going to use a DC source, a lot of people run an inverter off of a battery and just plug their laptop in with an AC adapter. That's very wasteful for power, but if you got a big, marine style battery, that works. I used to do that.
Sure.
There's a lot of members on the forum that have built and shown their power systems that they built from scratch with batteries and all the connectors and everything. It's kind of neat to see what people do.
And
But I think
solar
typically,
solar power panel stations. I've seen those at Star Park.
oh yeah,
They're totally off grid. You know, the Golden State Star Party is a perfect example of this. They don't have a lot of power on the field, and people bring their own power. And so having the solar panels, which are relatively inexpensive, you know, and a rechargeable battery of some sort, you know, works out pretty
right.
good.
So I'm sharing my desktop now. This is a
Okay, here we
example of
go. And guys, I'm going to turn off the chat overlay. So that's going to go away. So it looks sharper to you.
I'm going to zoom up even
Wow.
more on this.
How long has this guy been into astrophotography?
Wade, I don't know exactly how long Wade's been in,
1
but
week, 2 weeks?
it's probably for,
Look at
yeah,
that.
I think it's been in for a little while. I don't know exactly. He's new to the forum. This is a 600-second exposure guided on the IXOS 100
Mhm.
alpha, H alpha. And there's another picture of the as the color version of this that he's done. I went to this thread because I wanted to talk about, he's got this problem with his auto guiding, and he sent me the file and his log file, and
Yeah.
I'm going to try to bring it up. What did I do with that? Maybe I closed it. Let me quickly bring that up here.
Okay.
So I use a program called PhD Guide Viewer,
Okay.
or BHD Log Viewer, PhD2 Log Viewer, and so that lets me look at people's.
Oh, so they save off a file of their guiding performance
Right.
or something?
Right, exactly. So these are all the customers that have sent me their guide logs over the last couple of years. So I'm going to bring up this first guide log that he gave me.
Okay.
At a full scale here.
Oh, wow.
So one of the problems he's having. Go down here. Where's it at? Oh, here it is. Can you see that?
Yeah.
The blue is the right ascension,
Okay.
and red is declination.
Oh, wow.
Look at these spikes he's getting.
Giant spikes in declination.
Yeah, and they're plus or minus 5 to 7 arc seconds.
Oh, yeah, that's
spike,
a lot.
which is a lot. That's right. So one of the things I looked at the RA axis. I've got another program that I use that I demonstrated a few episodes ago called PEC Prep, which allows you to do analysis on the guide, on the actual tracking performance.
Yeah.
On the right ascension axis, and measures periodic error and stuff like that. And I looked at that on this guide log, and it looked like his PE was very good for the mount. It's around 1 arc second or so. But the spikes in declination are really troublesome. And one of the things we talked about in the forum, or some of the suggestions, were, and by the way, he's using the ASI Air Pro to do polar alignment and things like that. But some of the West talked about, it suggested, but it looks like what happens is when you have, we've talked about it before, when you have your balance really close to perfect.
Yeah. Too perfect, right?
If you get, it's too perfect, because when you get vertical or close to where your telescope acts like a pendulum, because you've still got a little bit of lash in declination.
Right.
And when you're sitting there tracking, then your deck, if the wind's blowing or if there's something going on, then every once in a while your mount can move in deck because you get that tiny little bit of lash, and that's what it looks like when you have these spikes. So depending on where you're pointing in the sky, there's really not a huge amount you can do unless you've, especially when you're pointed vertical and your mount and your telescope's vertical. You have to bias it. You have to pull it one way or the other against the gear train, basically, is what it comes down to.
So it's loaded on one side of the gear.
It's loaded on one side, that's right.
Instead of kind of sitting there wiggling in between the spaces.
Right, exactly. So it only occurs when you're in these positions where the scope is acting like a pendulum.
Mm-hmm.
If you can, when you pick targets or you're imaging targets that are off to the side or at an angle, where you don't have that, then it's very good. Then you don't have this type. So that's basically what the conclusion has been on the forum in terms of what is actually going on there.
I see.
With that spiking.
Right.
So, and this is what Dave Cherry.
Mount boat, that's what he calls it. Uh-huh.
Yep.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So that's what we think is going on there.
That's true. That is true.
What's that?
He says even a mild wind can blow.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Can then blow a track when it's in its hovering state. Yeah, because it's just sitting there and not touching anything.
Right. Exactly. You're not driving. So one of the things that we talk about, and this is also, I wonder if one of the ways you can get rid of some of this, depending on where you're pointing at, also, is to not have such a perfect polar alignment. Because what happens is you have declination drift at that point, right? So you're even with the declination, which is supposed to be steady, if you're not polar aligned, your star will move in the field because of the drift and declination because you're not polar aligned.
Right.
So that forces the autoguider to drive one way.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the conventional pieces of advice is to not do such a perfect polar alignment.
Mm-hmm.
And when you set up PhD auto guiding, either make it just drive in one direction, or turn it off, one or the other. You're not going to turn it off if you have not so good polar alignment. But if you have a perfect polar alignment, you can turn it off. That doesn't still fix this gap thing, but if you're going to want to drive your mount in declination, to keep it up against that side of the gear, and that I believe that would even work here when you're pointing near zenith, because again, your star is going to move in the field, so you're going to want to drive it a certain way to keep tracking it. So
I learned a long time ago from film astrophotographers. They would do all kinds of things to preload that declination axis, including using springs to pull back on things.
Right.
Engaged.
Exactly. And we've talked about that on the forum, using some kind of a spring-loaded deck side.
And knocking the polar alignment off just slightly. So, and that even goes back to Gary Palmer talking about, you can spend an hour drift aligning, and getting everything all really super tweaked. And maybe you missed your whole window of opportunity to shoot, or only left yourself 10 or 15 minutes of clear skies, because clouds are coming, versus,
That's right.
Most of the astrophotographers are doing, we're not shooting 90 minutes at a time anymore. We're not even doing 10 minutes at a time. Rarely, we're shooting 3 minutes, 4 or 5 minute exposures, very short, and doesn't require super accurate polar alignment to get that. Okay.
Right.
It is nicer for pointing, if you're doing remote pointing, that you're nicely polar aligned.
Right.
That's about it, these days.
Well, I've got another idea that Wes and I had been talking about for a while. We talked about it a few months ago, and we talked about it today when we were discussing this issue. One of the things I can do in the ASCOM driver, and I've done it on the right ascension axis, I can bias the rate on the right ascension axis in case there's a problem with. So, and this is how you can adjust, finely tune your right ascension for in case it's drifting a little bit for some reason.
All right.
You can add or subtract like 0.04, 0.05 arc seconds per second rate. Now I can actually make a change to the ASCOM driver, and I'm thinking about doing this, to where I add a this bias, this rate offset is what I call it, into the declination axis, where we can make an electronic spring load where it's driving, so you do a perfect polar alignment, but you bias this, you set this rate offset on the declination drive, or the declination axis, and it makes it move in declination at a constant rate. So then your auto guiding system comes back and feeds pulses back in to correct it. So you could have a perfect polar alignment, yet your deck is drifting, okay?
Yeah.
So the pointing would be good, but you can also use your auto guiding system to keep that mesh, or that push on that side of the drive, because you're trying to correct for this drift that we've injected into the signal.
Yeah.
So that's a way to do it. And the other thing that allows is that you have a constant bias all the time, where you wouldn't have that with a spring load necessarily if you're all over the sky, or there may be differences in the and declination drift is not constant all over the sky either. So, but this would allow us to inject a specific rate into the declination where it's balanced against the guiding pulses for the declination. So that may be a good answer. Wes and I are gonna work on that, and I'm gonna make changes to the ASCOM driver probably to put that feature in, and we'll see how it works.
Okay. All right. Terry Larriman did join with us today, and we promised that we would work on his mount.
Oh yeah.
Right. And so the best way, I think, Terry, is we can use Zoom, or we can use what other program do you have to get into a system, Jerry?
I use Zoom. That's the best one for me. I used to use TeamViewer, but I ran into a big issue probably a year or two ago, about their licensing.
Okay.
I bought a commercial license, and then they decided that everything I connected to was now a commercial
job, right?
computer system, including our observatory, which was not commercial, and it was blocking our users from getting into the system because they didn't have a commercial license on their TeamViewer.
Yeah.
So I just wrote them off. I said I'm not using TeamViewer anymore. So Zoom is the best,
right,
for me right now.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to send Terry credentials to log on, and you can share.
Are we going to do it? We're going to do it right now.
Yeah, you can share your screen on on Skype, I think, so we can see what's going on Zoom.
I'm going to stop sharing for a moment.
Yeah. Terry, I'm going to send you credentials on Facebook Messenger. So.
So you just pulled this one out of the hat.
No, we planned this.
Yeah, we planned it for last week ago or something.
That's right. Well, he's been on the road,
No, we can get on there for sure.
He's a hardworking guy, unlike ourselves. He's
right. This is a real troubleshooting.
Well, we're
session.
just sitting here playing with telescopes, right? So.
That's right. Mm-hmm.
All right, Terry.
So you're going to send that to me too. So we're going to join your session.
Yeah. Yeah. So let's see. All right.
I think
You got your messenger up there too?
my messenger, yeah,
Facebook Messenger.
the chat.
Chat. Yeah.
Oh, Facebook?
Yeah, Facebook Messenger.
Oh man.
You don't like?
No, you can. That's fine. Let me bring it up. I just gotta go find
Oh,
it.
I could do Skype. I can do Skype. That's fine.
Yeah, paste it into Skype.
All right, you got it.
I,
Okay. Actually, you are. Invite. There we go. Okay. Guys, thanks for bearing with us as we're doing this.
yeah, we'll have to review what Terry's issue is. I can't remember exactly.
He was not able to get it to really to connect.
Okay. Oh, see you typing something.
Here's the meeting ID.
Okay.
And then the password. Okay.
All right.
Let's see if we have. Terry, as soon as you can log on, we're ready for you. So.
All right. So I'm in there in the waiting room right now.
Okay.
Should I leave my video on Skype or transfer it to Zoom?
Are you able to share your screen on Skype and still be on?
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's do it like that.
I'm going to turn my video off on Skype.
Okay.
And then I should be able to do it on Zoom.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's what you want, though. Oh, I'm getting the echo now.
Are you?
Mm-hmm.
I don't hear the echo.
That's because I'm connected.
Yeah. It's kind of bouncing in and out a little bit. Do you? I don't know. Maybe it'll go away here in a moment. We're just waiting for Terry to come on.
You see my video?
Hold on for a second.
No. Maybe I'll go back to the Skype video.
Terry says, I got Skype and Zoom up and ready. Just get on Zoom, Terry.
Let me go back to the Skype video.
Okay. Go ahead. There you are.
All right, so I see myself and I see you on the Zoom meeting.
Yeah. Oh, you
So
do?
now,
Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
I think that's why it's getting the echo.
Ken says doing things on the fly can be very stressful.
Uh,
Ah!
I observed an exoplanet on the fly. I mean,
Yes, you did. Yes, you did. You actually recorded an exoplanet on the fly. If that wasn't stress, I don't know what was. Nico says, "Come on, guys, we have faith in you. You can do it." Well, we're
yeah, there's a
certainly
very
going to
close
try. So
echo.
this is real. I mean, this guy's having a real problem, and we did not rehearse this, as you could tell. And
Test. Yeah, there's a
let's
big echo.
see. So Terry, you have to you have to join the meeting. It's not like a phone call like Skype. You have to join the meeting on your Zoom application and put in the meeting ID and the password I sent to you. I don't hear it. Does anyone in the audience hear an echo from Jerry's side? No echo. Nope. Yeah, I do on Zoom. Yeah. You sharing part. Yeah. Zoom window. Mm-hmm. And we're still waiting for Terry to come on. I see a window on top of a window in Zoom. Oh, hold on for a second. Shared screen. Let's see what that looks like. Okay, I'm seeing it now. Okay, let me just use the shared screen. Yeah, you did like a max headroom thing where your head was like, wow. For all you kids out there, they're too young to know who Max Headroom was. I feel sorry for you. Jerry disappeared with the Skype. It must be Skype and Zoom battling it out. You know, they don't like each other very much. Oh, they can't hear you, Jerry. No, I can hear you because you're coming through on Zoom, I believe.
Okay, there's my Skype audio.
Okay,
Do they hear me now?
we'll find out. Hello, darkness, my old friend. Yeah, they hear you.
Okay.
They hear you. I like that infinity and beyond
Yeah, that's like it's
fact.
repeating. I'm sharing Skype, which is sharing Zoom, which is sharing Skype, which is
Skype and
sharing Zoom.
Zoom and sharing Skype and sharing Zoom. I wonder how far it goes.
I don't know. Look, it's flashing. See there?
Flashing.
That's yeah, it's not really working. Let me do something else here. I'm gonna stop sharing for a minute.
Okay. We are looking at now.
Okay, now can you see my Zoom window? Oh, that's not working either. That's repeating forever.
Wow.
It doesn't work.
Only I could repeat forever.
Apparently, I can't share it. You have to share it.
I have to share it, huh?
Maybe.
Well, let's see. So if I share my screen, multiple participants can share simultaneously. Now that's in Zoom. So I don't want to do it in Zoom. I want to do it in Skype, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's see what happens. Still waiting for Terry.
We may have to wait till we do the show in Zoom.
Ken said it never ends. It's like a worm in the old days.
Right now, we got the Skype symbol up on the main display. That's what we're broadcasting.
Right. Well, this is me, so there we go. Well, maybe we need to go offline, okay? And then pick up the show again with Terry, okay? But using Zoom. So let me
Zoom, yeah.
see what I can do. Terry Lehrman, still not getting anything from you. Terry, you won't get anything from me except I did send on Facebook Messenger the meeting ID number and the password. It does not ring up like it does on Skype on Zoom. It's a different process. So, but let's go ahead and finish the show, this one, and then we'll get right back on. If you guys are interested, for those of you that are interested in watching us work on this system, give us a few minutes, and then you'll see us back on the air. So take care, and I'll see you in a few minutes.